The following is brought to you by Bleacher Report. If you guys want to check out my live post-game reaction show, make sure to have the Bleacher Report app downloaded and ready to fire up right after the game. You'll find me in the Chargers section. Bolt up.
It's the director. Kia ora, Bolt fam. Kia ora, Jets fans. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all Chargers fans around the world. Hopefully you guys are in here excited to talk about the Chargers' victory over the New York Jets, which I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how super unashamedly optimistic I was about this matchup. If you guys go watch one of my pregame videos where I kind of predict what's going to happen, what I think we need to do, yada, 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 I had the Chargers really struggling in this one in terms of putting up points. Of course, that Jets defense, very elite, one of the best that you're going to find in the league, especially concerning those defensive backs. Howdy day, man. Those guys led by Sauce Gardner and company, super tough to score against. Despite that, the Chargers, I'm going to do my best Jurassic Park impression. The Chargers found a way, the Jeff Goldblum. Because despite the offense maybe doing what I thought would happen, of course, Justin Herbert, maybe not his best day, and the scoring offense, maybe not their best day, they found a way to put up points, get in position to find a way to win in this one. I think that's really indicative of a team effort, just a very good team effort. The Chargers looked good in all facets today: offense, special teams, defense, even in coaching in very many moments. And that's something that I think the Chargers and its fans need to get excited about this game and games going forward. This is a scrappy football team, man. I think a lot of us, including me, a lot of the early parts of the season, maybe a little bit pessimistic in terms of where this team could go if this season was a wash, if it was worth investing the rest of the year. And I can tell you pretty confidently now, like, hey, hang in there, have fun with it. The Chargers are a scrappy football team that I think, at very worst at this point, make a very interesting wild card sort of potential team. I'm very excited to see how far they can take it. So in this win today, the Chargers taking on the New York Jets. There's a couple of things that I really wanted to start out with here. Let's actually get the screen on here for you guys so we can kind of share some of my thoughts live as to some of the contributors to this victory, which, again, I'm going to go ahead and say this was a team win. By definition, I think this team, every single member of every single level had to contribute. In the offense, defense, special teams. This is a complete win by the Chargers. It's a very good thing to see. And while we're doing this, by the way, I asked my chat in my show to do this before coming in here. I want you guys to think hard about this. Who would you give the game ball to? If you're sitting there in the locker room, you're like, oh man, I got to give this ball to somebody, to one person. Who would it be in this game? Because it's a very big question this week, considering I think the whole team really came together for this one. So let's go ahead and start on the Chargers side of things. Now, a lot of people would look at this stat line: Justin Herbert, 16 of 30, 136, no touchdowns, 5 sacks, and be like, oh my goodness. I think the emoticon they have here on Bleacher does say it all. That's a pretty bad day, man. That's a pretty bad day for any quarterback in the NFL. Well, let me tell you, Justin Herbert is in company of some of the best quarterbacks in the league with these stats. I think Patrick Mahomes, off the top of my head, I'm sorry if it's incorrect, he only put up around 200 yards. I think 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. Before that, the Bills, who I do believe the Jets defeated earlier this year, Josh Allen, I think he put up somewhere like 230 yards, I think 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions in that game. So if the New York Jets have done anything in this season, it's create a defense that can shut down any quarterback in the league, elite or not. And Chargers fans hate it when I say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. And for him to put up 201 and 2 picks is pretty indicative of how good this defense is. So coming into this game, we certainly knew it was going to be a very tough day for Justin Herbert. And it was. It was a very tough day. The Chargers needed to find a way to win despite not throwing for a single touchdown, and they did just that. So let's go down here to the next section. This is kind of where things sort of started looking a little bit better. Joshua Kelly, Austin Eckler, the Chargers only with 2 active running backs this week, found a way to move the football on the ground. Maybe not as aggressively as I was hoping for, but they did it. And the biggest reason why I was hoping that the run game would be on track this week is because if there's one weakness that the Jets have on defense, it is certainly that run defense. That run defense is certainly not as good and the Chargers found a way to get just enough to keep the offense rolling. Now you take a look at the total yards here, 136 through the air. We're looking at what, like under 100 on the ground. It's okay. But where this team really came together was keeping drives alive, finding ways to convert. Keenan Allen, and in special teams and defense is where I really want to throw a lot of the attention on. Before we completely move on over to that, though, I did have to give a huge shout out and congratulations to our guy, Keenan Allen. 9 targets, 8 receptions, 77 yards. That's a pretty okay day. But if I'm not mistaken, this day was also the day that Keenan Allen has surpassed 10,000 yards in his career, and he did it in the most Keenan Allen way possible. This man goes up, comes down with one of the most ridiculous passes I've ever seen in terms of he had to get some serious body control in order to come down with that, twist his body, contort it, come down. Very, very cool to see that particular play result in 10,000 yards for Keenan Allen. Very cool. 7 targets, only 2 receptions. Got to work on that for Austin Eckler. That's a lot of targets for just 2 receptions on Austin Eckler. Still, good to see him back and involved in that way. The Chargers need to move the ball underneath somehow, whether it be by getting the run game up and going or finding a way to lean on Austin Eckler and his receiving ability. The targets are good. Got to clean up those drops. I saw a couple this week with Austin Eckler that are a little bit worrisome. Gerald Everett. There was that one play in particular at the long of 17. You guys remember that one? He catches it underneath. I think he breaks. It was after Justin Herbert had broken his initial sack, tosses it underneath to Gerald Everett, who proceeds to break like 20 tackles, goes for 17 yards in a ridiculous fashion. The reason I bring this up is because I think the Chargers would be wise, especially after the loss of Mike Williams, to get this man a little bit more involved. Gerald Everett's kind of insane. Now, right underneath him, and I warned Chargers fans about this, and I want to say this right now on Bleacher Report because I think it's very important. Quinton Johnston went 3 of 2, or 2 receptions on 3 targets for 14 yards. Not a great day for Quinton Johnston. However, I kind of want to shove in front of you guys just how good the Jets defense is. I'm sure we saw a lot of Sauce Gardner on Quinton Johnston, probably the best corner in the league. And we saw last week Quinton Johnston really go ham versus the Bears. Sure, it wasn't like a crazy week, but it was really good for a rookie. We did kind of call before this game that Quinton was going to have a quiet day, and that's okay. That's all right. I think still with the way the Chargers and the offense is evolving, I saw enough to get me excited about his involvement with the offense, and I think there's a lot to be optimistic about going forward. All right, so Quinton Johnston, not too much to worry about. Then outside of that, we saw guys like Jalen Guyton, Kelly, et cetera, et cetera. Where I think I want the most of the focus to be in this reaction today is how the Chargers and its other units came together to carry the offense across the finish line. And that is special teams and defense. First off, tip of the hat and pat on the back to Cameron Dicker, who 2 of 2 field goals. He's long of 55. I think the other one was like a 40-something yard field goal. You guys help me in the chat. How long was the other field goal? It was like a 40-something yard field goal. 2 long field goals. 3 of 3 on the extra points. That's pretty fantastic. If you were a Chargers fan a decade ago, kicker was one of the biggest things that you're pulling your hair out about, and Cameron Dicker has given us some relief in that department. So thank you, Cameron. He definitely helped us in terms of pulling away early, not giving the Jets a lot of room to come back. Now, I see in the chat 38, 46, 38, 37. Okay, still a pretty long one. Cameron Dicker's showing some consistency that we've really missed at that position. The one position on special teams that I've not been crazy about lately, which is kind of sad, has been J.K. Scott, the punter, who was such a good punter at the top of the season. I don't know what happened since then. But everybody else crazy. Our return game this week was insane, folks. 3 returns, 104 yards, and a touchdown. Darius Davis, man. Can I see some 12s in the chat for our guy Darius Davis? Dude really set the tone this week, huh? The first points on the board were a spectacular return by Darius Davis, who is showing us upside on special teams in terms of a return game we haven't seen in a long time. That's very good to see. And not just that. I think a lot of people are going to remember him for that return touchdown, be like, oh, yeah, he had a great week. He also had another really good return where we needed it. I think it was just before the second half. and the first half was coming to a close. We needed extra yards from that return, and he gave us something like 20 yards on that return, allowing us the time and distance to go put up another Dicker field goal. Fantastic. Darius Davis, I would say in contention, at least for me, on the game ball this week. Now let's talk about the defense, man. So special teams, they helped drag the offense across the finish line with an incredible touchdown to start the game off. Consistently good returns, and just so consistent and reliable scoring from the kicking position. Now let's get into the defense. Sure, Derwin James had that one boneheaded penalty, but outside of that, this dude was all over the place this week. Very nice to see. Very tough to get guys open. Very physical. This whole team played so physical this week, which is very, very indicative of why the Chargers forced so many fumbles, which we'll get to in a second. But Derwin James, I think he recovered one fumble, 10 total tackles, 7 solo. Very nice week for him. Kenneth Murray, very good versus the run. Joey Bosa, man, what a week for him. 6 tackles, 1 for loss, 2.5 sacks, forced fumble. Big Bear Joey Bosa came to play today, man. Wowee. 23.4 miles per hour, Davis. Yeah, dude's fast. Wowee, Joey Bosa. This defensive line was cooking today. Tuli Tuipulotu. 2 for loss, 2 sacks. Incredible. Khalil Mack. 5 total. Tackle for loss. 2 sacks. Incredible. Dean Marlowe got in there for a sack. That snuck in. I don't know if I remember seeing that one. There's one more by Morgan Fox. That's correct. Very good day. What is that? A total of like 7? 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 7 sacks by the team this week. 8 sacks. Absolutely insane. And this is something that I think Chargers fans should be very excited about. And this is something that I kind of teased at the top of the year, especially as we were continuing to find a little bit of struggle defensively early in the season. My God. And it's still kind of that way. We're not quite out of the woods yet. But I was like, one thing Chargers fans should be excited about is the consistency in terms of pressure. If this team defensively has an identity, especially at this point, I think it's their ability to get to the quarterback. This is a very good pass rushing team. As a matter of fact, I don't know if we had counted the Dean Marlowe sack quite yet. I don't think we did. I think that might put the Chargers at 30 sacks this season as a team. And we're in week 8. You guys want to know how many sacks the Chargers had last season combined total? All 17 weeks? As a team, the Chargers logged 40 sacks in 2022 as a squad. Here we are, week 9, going into week 10. We have 30 sacks on the year. This is one of the best pass rushing squads I've seen in a long time. This is kind of what I got crazy excited about last year when we picked up Khalil Mack. I was like, this is what I envisioned. It's like, man, we're going to get after the quarterback. We're going to cause some chaos, and we're going to force some turnovers. And that's exactly what we saw. This defensive line is nasty. And it's not just Joey and Khalil Mack anymore. It's Tuli Tuipulotu, who's having one of the best seasons for a rookie at the position this year, which is very cool to say because look at the company that he's in this year. This is a very good pass rushing class. The edge rushers are absolutely insane from top to bottom. And here comes the second rounder in Tuli Tuipulotu that is having himself a crazy good year. And he stands out. It's very hard to stand out with these names, and he's doing it. You also got guys like Morgan Fox and Sebastian Joseph Day in the interior. Just a fantastic line right now. So cool to see that coming together. And the Chargers having an identity on defense that is causing havoc, chaos, turnovers. It's working. If the Chargers corners and DBs step up in 2024, watch out, NFL. This is the team to beat defensively. Of course, we may not have Mac. Maybe we have to move some things around. But Bosa and Tuli will definitely be there for sure. And it sounds like the team's finally learning how to use them, which is very, very cool. The defense in terms of turnovers as well. I think it was all forced fumbles, right? I don't think we logged a single interception. We did not. The fumbles positioned the offense for easy opportunities to score. Just taking a look at the touchdowns here on offense. What do we have? 2 for Austin Eckler, right? 2 for Austin Eckler. And the other ones are on special teams and defense, right? So that's 14 and then 21. And then the field goals. That's right. Austin Eckler, 47 yards. Yes, I think he had one drive. I was like, that was Austin Eckler. That's awesome. He did a good job. But outside of that, he did get the ball, at the 1 yard line there at the end to kind of put it away. The defense really helped the Chargers position themselves very, very well in order to take advantage point-wise. What I mean by that is the defense, I think, gets just as much credit here as the offense in terms of the 27 points put up this week. Very, very good effort, team effort, special teams with that score, defense with their positioning, and big plays across the board. I mean, my God, how many forced fumbles? 1, 2, 3 forced fumbles, 8 sacks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passes defended. This was a great defensive performance. And to see the team finally growing into that identity and growing into their own defensively kind of gives me hope for the rest of the season. To kind of help, wrap a bow on this, the Chargers going forward, what should your stock be in them? Who are they realistically as a team? Like I said before, they feel like a very scrappy wild card team at this point, which is very cool. And going forward, there are some matchups that they maybe could take advantage of if they can keep this momentum going, which is certainly a huge part of these wins. Slapping the Bears, I kind of expecting that. Slapping the Jets, did not expect that at all, and you're gaining momentum all the time. That momentum carried into the Lions game next week. Very important. Lions, very good defense. Very good offense. Very complete, scary-looking team. They're not your daddy's Lions. They're very good. I think the Chargers, with this momentum and finding their strengths and pushing and leaning on them, have a good shot. I think past that, what is it? The Packers? I think the Chargers could take the Packers. They can slow down that run, and that's one big thing they've been so good at this year is defending the run. Then after that, you got teams like Baltimore and Kansas City. It's going to be tough. But honestly, I think this team could squeak in, 8-9, 9-8. And depending on how they continue to build on that momentum, they could be a pretty scary team if they can continue building on their momentum. That's something that we haven't seen all season. We've seen the Chargers lose a lot of games that they should have won. We've seen a lot of close opportunities dropped. Finally, I'm seeing that energy, that passion, that physicality that you see with teams that really want to win. Now, finally, this is going to take some of you guys off. I think the coaching was on par this week. I don't know if there was conversations had behind the scenes or if jobs are on the line or whatever the narrative might be behind the scenes. But Kellen Moore called a pretty good game considering the opponent. Some people will disagree, like, oh my God, we ran 3 times in the fourth quarter. I think considering the opponent, the play calling offensively was very good given what you had to work with. Defensively, I liked everything past like some of the soft coverage that we've been seeing too often, but it was actually a really good game defensively too. Special teams is on point. Not too many mistakes coaching wise. They're starting to become more and more limited in the past couple of weeks. Are the coaching turning a corner too? I don't know. If that's the case, then really watch out for the Chargers because that's been our biggest weakness this season. Very poor coaching and leadership. That is starting to change right in front of my eyes. Will it stay the same way? Will it continue to build on it? I don't know. But it's certainly better than it was 2 weeks ago. Can the Chargers become a well-coached team? I don't think it's too late. Have my thoughts changed on Brandon Staley and what I think about his job security? Not really. I still think that this team would benefit from moving on. But for this season, at least, I like what I'm seeing. And I have hope. I have hope for the rest of the year. So I don't know, man. Looking pretty good out there. Chargers win this one 27-6. Let's go to the chat here a little bit. Let's go here to the chat a little bit. Yo, Director, what jersey are you repping? We're repping Keenan Allen, man. Congratulations on 10,000 yards. Boom, number 13. I don't know if you guys can really see that. Number 13, Keenan Allen. What a day for him. D-line was great tonight. Absolutely. Becoming a strength and an identity on this team. The Chargers are now that scary team quarterbacks don't want to face because of how well they are in rushing the quarterback. Very, very cool. It was Tom Telesco's apology to the defense. Yep. Congratulations to Keenan Allen. Absolutely. It's not just Sanders live and instant. Nice. Thule, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa getting the game balls. Okay, that's kind of where I wanted to lead this. Where are you guys throwing the game balls at after this game? Because for me, I think some of the biggest standouts, I probably actually would give it to Joey Bosa. I think he had some huge moments in this game, but I wouldn't be mad giving it to Darius Davis for setting the tone this week, to Thule, to Khalil Mack. I think Khalil Mack's definitely to Alohi Gilman, who we didn't even mention. We're gonna have to go back to that. Hang on. Alohi Gilman had a crazy game this week too, man. Look at this. Alohi. He forced the fumble, right? He forced the fumble. Dude was playing like, I don't know, Sean Merriman at safety for a while. Very physical. Very good game all around. Good to see Tito back in there too. Jalen Guyton back in there. Just all in all, a very good win today. Whole D-line and Davis. Yeah, just so great. So good to see a complete Chargers win. And that's what you need to see if you want to be competitive going forward. The defense needs to catch up. They caught up. They look pretty good tonight. The offense need to get the job done. They did just enough to put up 27 points. But more so, the creativity behind, honestly, Brandon Staley, Kellen Moore, Ansley, these guys are able to find a way to put up these points and win despite the very steep climb, this very crazy hill to overcome. And that Jets defense is impressive. It shows me that we can adjust. It shows me that there's creativity in the coaching. And it shows me that the players are willing to execute. I mean, hats off to Justin Herbert. Didn't have a crazy game. But the dude, he saved us from a forced fumble by putting that injured hand out there in danger. He's willing to throw down for the team and execute and lead. I've seen that from the coaches now. I'm seeing that from the players. And I don't know, man. I'm feeling kind of optimistic all of a sudden. Sue me, I am feeling optimistic. So you guys let me know in the comment section what you guys thought of this game, how you feel realistically about the Chargers going forward. I know some people say it's not enough. We need to win games against better football teams. I get that. But this is a great start because to me, the Jets were a very good football team. This is a playoff contending team. Even without Aaron Rodgers, that defense is so good. This is a playoff team in my opinion. Chargers just beat a playoff team in my eyes. You guys let me know what you think. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. Excuse me for being a little under the weather today, but I'm very excited. We'll be very excited for next week. We'll be very excited for tomorrow and the post game or the day after victory dance. And Chargers fans, get excited. If anything, you got something to look forward to the rest of the season. We are a scrappy, dangerous, wild card team. We're going out there. We're going to break some hearts, baby. Starting next week with the Detroit Lions. Let's get it, baby. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. If you like what you saw here, hit us up with a follow on Bleacher Report. We'll catch you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. Big love out there, guys.